Well, go on, people. What you saying? It is I, Diligent Fingers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video. Um, now, the thing that I wanted to talk about today is in response to a lot of discussions that I've been seeing recently on YouTube, on Clubhouse, on a lot of like social media platforms where discussions can take place and people talk about things in regards to, what they've been going through and in regards to how society can paint things, societal pressures, shall we say. Now, what I'm responding to is this whole concept that I'm seeing. Now, I'm not going to say it's all women or anything like that, or even all men, because I've seen a couple of really weird responses in regards to this whole issue of being a single parent. And what's kind of triggered me is seeing a couple of discussions, seeing a video where a question was posed in regards to, I think paraphrasing what the question was, but the question was, your baby father, your partner's baby mother is struggling financially, and she asks your partner to buy her a car because her kids are constantly late for school. Is it right for you as the partner of the baby of the person who's got kids? Is it right for you to be annoyed? And a lot of people in these discussions were like, yeah. And they were for really, really stupid and selfish reasons. And that I had one response instantly, two men and say a lot of the women that were in this discussion, instantly they were thinking about, well, what else is she going to do with the car? Like you've spent this amount of money on the car only for her to go and fuck somebody else in your car, and this and then when some of these women have got the spotlight on their own, so like there's sections of like these discussions where some of the panelists are on their own and they're giving their real opinion because they're not in front of everybody else and stuff. And one woman is saying, look, this is why I don't deal with baby daddies, because I'm selfish. I don't want my partner to be talking about, oh, my kid needs shoes. I need shoes, buy me some shoes. I'm like, what the fuck? But then in the same video, this woman is saying, well, why can't she, how come she hasn't got enough money to look after her own kids and take her kids to school? I'm hearing examples of, why don't she ask a neighbor to take the kids to school? Why doesn't she wake up earlier? Why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? And the mind blowing thing was nobody except the parents that were on the panel, nobody except them was actually thinking about the children. There was a father there who, oh my God, there was a father there who was basically saying, look, I don't care about any of that shit. I care about my kids. If my baby mother is saying she's having problems getting my kids to school and she needs a car, she's having issues financially and she needs a car to help to get the kids to school on time, yeah, he's going to do that. He's going to do that. And he does not care what his new partner says, because at the end of the day, he is focusing on his kids. Of course, the mother is going to use the vehicle on other things. Anyway, right. Anyway, that's just one example of what's got me triggered. And seeing all of these discussions going on and the varied sort of opinions and perspectives and stuff like that, that were being put forth, it was just amazingly frustrating how much no one was thinking about the actual children themselves, what the children need, how the children are going to perceive things, how the children are going to take things. Now, I don't want to seem as if I'm just here disrespecting women or single parents or anything like that. That's not my intention at all. My mother was a single parent. you know, she was married, the marriage broke down, and she ended up being a single parent of 5 children. 5 children. Being a single parent of one child is hard enough. Imagine being single parent of five. 5 children, all with different personalities, all with different wants and needs and levels of understanding, all with different life paths, because no human takes the exact same life path. Do you know what I mean? No human is exactly the same as another human. It makes no sense. Sorry about the phone ringing in the background. Thankfully, it stopped now. But no human takes the exact same path as somebody else. That just cannot happen. So being a single parent, it's like, and being able to get through it and being able to bring up a child and into an adult, that is an achievement within itself. Trust me, that is an achievement within itself. And that should be commended and praised every single fucking chance it can get. Now, I'm also not going to say that there are not bad single parents. That can happen too. And that, what I'm going to go into, in the perspective that I'm going to give, is one, as a child that grew up without a father, without his real father, and as a man, and also as a man that wants to be a parent, not wants to have a kid. I want to be a parent, but I don't have children at the moment. I'm nearly 40 and I don't have any kids at the moment. So to start off with, as a child, as the firstborn of 5 children, and as a man, yeah, the two things that I realize I always wanted throughout my life is, one, a big brother, and 2, a father. They're the two things I've always wanted within my life. And those two things have ended up shaping me into the person that I am today. And I hate that. I've got a spot, man. Sorry about that. Growing up and realizing the person who was assuming the role as my father, realizing that they were not my biological father, that was hard enough to deal with. And then growing up and seeing examples of men that were just bad fathers, people that just would not take up the responsibility of the choices that they have made, and the fact that they have children, and those children have needs. They have needs, and that one parent that is responsible for these children is dealing with so much more than the other. It's not a fair deal. Things are not split down the middle. There's no compromise. One parent is dealing with things a lot more than the other. So growing up, the first set of years of me growing up as a teenager and then growing up as a young adult, I grew up hating dads. Because of how much my biological father just was not there and I didn't know about him. And then 2, how much my stepfather was not there during those years of me being a teenager and stuff like that. I went into foster care, and I went into a home that had 2 parents there, and two boys, 2 children, and had 2 parents there. But then I saw that relationship break down because the father of the household, the man of the household, was having an affair. And then he left the household and started to show more attention and more accountability to children that were not his. I don't know the main reasons why. I don't know what was in his head. We've never had a conversation about that. But what I could see is the effect that it had on my 2 foster brothers and how it ended up shaping them. What I could see was the effect that it had on my foster mum and the changes that she had to deal with, and the bigger responsibility that she now had to take up as being a single parent. And I don't know if things got better after I left foster care, but I remember that experience vividly, especially it being similar to me seeing my own mother break down under the stress she was dealing with 5 children on her own. But again, going back to my perspective as firstborn, as a man, and as a person that did not have their father around. So like I said, I grew up in my early years hating dads, until I met a dad who was good, until I met a dad who, regardless of the situations that he was being put in, his only concern was for the welfare and care of his children. Didn't matter how much stress he was being put under. He wasn't a violent man. He wasn't a confrontational man. He just made a mistake and ended up having children when he wasn't ready. And that. But he took up that responsibility, and he tried to do as much as he possibly could to be there for those kids, regardless of what was thrown at him, regardless of the situations, regardless of what was said to him, regardless of what ended up happening in his own life, the obstacles that he had to to overcome in his own life. Never mind the lives of the mother of his children and his children. Regardless of all of that, his only concern was for the welfare of his children. And when I saw that, I wanted that so much. I wanted that so much. It wasn't even a case of this guy was rich and he had all the money in the world and he could buy his kids whatever. The thing that I saw, that all he wanted to do is give his children time. All he wanted to do was just spend time with his children, get to know his children, be there for his children. And if he can provide, he will provide with anything that he can give. This was not a man who lived in a home that had everything: flat screen TVs, bare shoes, bare jewelry, this, that, and the other. He had minimal shit. He only had the things that he needed to be able to get through, because every single penny, every single part of his intention was all about the care, welfare, and wanting to give his time to his children. I wanted that so much. I started to understand the nuances of being a father. I started to understand the pressures of being a father. Because up until that point, I only understood the nuances and the pressures of being a mother. I had no examples of the nuances and the pressures of being a father. I only had the loss of that presence as an experience or a reference to go by, you know? So when I saw what a good father, a good dad can look like, I wanted that so much. I wanted to be able to provide that so much, to the point where it shaped me to the point of not putting myself in a position where I'm going to bring a child into this world that I cannot provide for, that I could not do everything I possibly can for. I took my mother's advice. Don't just have a kid. If you get into a situation where, you're going to have a child and you're not ready, talk about it. Talk about it with your partner. And if the best option is to have an abortion, then feel no way about it. This is coming from a woman who had the choice to abort me and she didn't. But she's trying to teach me how to be a responsible parent. Because bringing a child into this world is not a joke. It is not a game. You are bringing another human being into this world that has feelings, that has emotions, that will go through the same traumas dramas, difficulties, obstacles, and cruelness that all of us have had to go through growing up in this world and living through constantly changing and evolving times. As a black man, the extra weight of that is bringing children into this world, into a world where there is a lot of prejudice and there is a lot of racism. And I have to be mentally equipped to be able to effectively teach my children, as black children, how to be able to navigate through this world. Having children is not a fucking game. It's not something that you can just need. You can just want just for selfish reasons, just for the gratification of yourself. Oh, just for the rose-tinted bollocks, basically, of, oh, I'd be an amazing parent, or just because you happen to be good with children that you can give back to their parents, and those parents saying, oh, you're so good with kids. You get it twisted in your head that somehow you would be an amazing parent. You would be an absolutely amazing parent. Look, having children is no joke. I will forever constantly praise my mum for the job that she did, raising 5 children basically on her own. Forever praise my mum for that. That is a miraculous feat. A miraculous feat. So I have nothing but love, honor, and respect for my mother, for bringing me and my little brothers and sisters up the best that she could, trying to teach us, trying to guide us, trying to give us information so we can go forward and make informed decisions. But growing up, being able to have a male role model where the problems that I am having as a man, I can speak to an older man and he can give me some guidance as my father, as someone who is connected me emotionally and physically by blood, as a man that loves their child. Do not get me wrong. I got some of this advice from some of the older males in my life. But it's not the same. It's not the same from getting it from your own parent. So these older men would talk to me. I would listen. I would try and take on some of what they're saying. But it's my mum's opinion that would matter and I would value more. Because she is my parent. She is my mum. For the main first years of my life, she nurtured me. She changed my nappy. She would clean up my poo. She would feed me. Like, she knows me in ways that no other people do unless you get into a relationship. She would know how I sleep. She would know when I get home from school and I've had a bad day, what my concerns are, what my upsets are. Look. There is no deeper connection than the connection of a child to their parents. Or parent if it's singular. So I'm sorry, men. I'm sorry, men that would give me advice and this, that, and the other, but this is the real. This is the real. Because of who my mum is and the fact she's my mum, it's her opinion I'm going to value more. But does it mean that if I have my own father there giving me his perspective and hopefully a good and well-balanced perspective, like some of the many, many good dads, many amazing fathers that I know now, of all shapes, creeds, and colours and races. Many, I know some absolutely amazing dads that just love their children and will do anything for their children, regardless of whether they're with the mother of the children or not. Amazing fathers. I would love to have that in my life. I wish I was able to have that in my life. So when I see these discussions where, you know, other people are going to come in, get into a relationship with a person who already has children and feel like they have any kind of way to dictate how that parent should deal with their children, how that parent should deal with the mother or father of their children. Like it really has any kind of fucking weight. Is beyond me, because you are not thinking of the child. You are being selfish and thinking of yourself. Another selfish example is this notion, yeah, that has come up and majoritively with women. This notion that it is better off to not have the father around and to be a single mother. I'm hearing discussions where women who don't have kids are saying they will actively have a child on their own and not consider the father. But yet they don't want to settle for a man that doesn't have this, doesn't have that. They don't want to understand the sacrifice that undertakes, that costs to be a single parent. Somehow they still have it in their mind that they can still go out and have a career and do this and do that. Somehow they still have it in their mind that, okay, just because you have money, you have everything that you need to take care and bring up this child on your own. The father does not matter. Now I'm saying, again, as a firstborn of 5, as a man who also does not have kids, and a man who did not have his father in his life, I am saying, as that coming from that perspective, you are absolutely crazy. The people that think like this, you are absolutely crazy, and you are only thinking about yourself. You are looking at social media, you are seeing these parents that share their family photos and seeing the likes and the attention and the love that they get, and you just want that for yourself. You just want that for yourself. I used to be guilty of that. Everyone telling me, oh, you're so great with kids. You'd be a great dad. And for the longest time, I've been like, oh, I want to be a dad so bad. I want to be a dad so bad. I'll be ready. And I've had to change that stance. I used to be proud to say that. But now I'm 40 and I've got no kids. Because I believe I've not been able to find a relationship where I believe it's going to be good enough, whether we stay together or not, to still be able to provide a great environment for our children. Whether it's because it's the wrong partner, or because, we thought we had enough, that we'd been together for enough time, but then a complication came up that we never thought we'd have to deal with, and it changes things. That's also life. That is also life. Things change. Your best laid plans may not always go according to plan. That is life. Male or female. That is life. But to to walk through this life with the notion, with the conviction and belief that as one parent, even though it takes 2 people to make a child, As one person, you can truly provide everything that a child needs to the point where you will happily dismiss the whole role of the other partner. How can you really believe you are thinking about the child? How? As a thing that completely threw me off, one of these people that was on a live stream saying these outrageous things, they were asked, did you have both parents growing up? Yeah, they had both parents growing up. And she wanted what they had. She wanted what they had because they've been together for decades, and she did, from what she could see, they have an understanding and they're willing to work together and da 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 da. She wants what they had. But if she doesn't get what they've had, she's not willing to settle for that. She's not willing to settle and work through things. No, bun that guy. Bun his role as the parent. Nah, you're gonna do it on your own. You're just gonna do it on your own. And you truly believe that you have everything that you need. Again, it takes two people to make a child, but you believe, without even having a child yourself, with having two parents that brought you up, you somehow believe that you will have everything that you need to bring up a child on your own. You are tapped. You are crazy. And it always seems to be people that don't have kids that have these wild perspectives, wild outlooks on life. I will be guilty. I will be real enough to admit that I have been guilty, of adding to the breakdown of the importance of the role of fathers. I would admit I'd be guilty of partaking in that. But as I said in the beginning of this video, what is the one thing that I ended up yearning for the most the older that I got? The presence and the time and the consideration of my father. Not money, the time, the consideration, the compassion, the love. I needed that more than anything. Anything. And I'm at peace now with the fact that I'm of an age where, that's just not going to be needed anymore. That time has passed. I'm also at peace with the fact of I may never actually have kids now. I may never actually have kids. And to be able to have that time where I could truly be there for my children and have and spend quality time with them and have a true impact in their lives. I hear women say to me all the time, well, man them can just, 2 pumps in the squirt and have kids at any time. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. But the experience is going to be vastly different having kids within your 20s, maybe 30s, maybe even 40s, to having kids in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I'm not going to be able to spend quality time with my children when my body is depreciating and old age is setting in. What kind of quality time really can I have with my children at that age? I have a kid at 50, by the time they're 10 years old, I'm 60. By the time they're old enough to have a drink with, I'm 70 years old. By the time that they're getting into, hopefully, a good career or thinking about marriage and things like that, I'm 80. I'm 80 years old. I'm sorry, women, yeah, you are technically right where our sperm can be provided at any age. but a womb stops being affected by a certain time. Yes, technically that is true. But when we're talking about being able to provide quality time for your children, quality time with and for your children, like I said, the experience is going to be completely different in your younger years compared to your older years. But in this current society, it's fine to completely downplay and downgrade the role of both parents, both parents. In this current society, more so on men. Men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. I used to say it. For a long time, for over a decade, I used to say that. Dads are shit. Men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. Anyone can be a dad. Anyone can be a father. Look. Big up the stepdads that take on the role fully and are amazing parents to children that are not theirs. Big up the dads that adopt children that are not theirs and fully take on the fact that, they are now your child. Big up. I'm not downplaying your role at all. I'm not downplaying your role at all. But it fucking hurts when that same child turns around to you and says, yeah, you're not my real dad. Fucking hurts, innit? Fucking hurts, innit? When they turn around to you and say, you're not my real mum. Fucking hurts, innit? Soul destroying, heartbreaking, fucking hurts, innit? So then when you're on the other end and you're openly, gladly saying, men ain't shit. And men, when you're turning around and saying, women ain't shit, when they are raising your children on their own, and you are giving minimal effort, you are complaining about having to give money for your children. You are letting your new partner, dictate what you can and can't do, or influence what you should and should not do for your children. This partner has fuck all to do with bringing these children into your life. Yet you're letting them influence your decision on what you should and shouldn't do for your children. Look, this needs to stop. This needs to stop. Because how are you really thinking about... Look. As a flip. So we'll go back to this whole buying a car for the mother who's having financial difficulties, yeah? She could be doing whatever else she's doing in this car, yeah? But as a child, yeah, your mum didn't have a car before. She's got a car now. As a child, turning around and hearing your mum say, yeah, your dad got that for us. Yeah, dad got that for us. Rather than, your dad ain't shit, I had to get this car myself. Think about how that influences that child. Regardless of whatever problems you may have with the father. Think about how those words, one sentence versus another sentence, will influence that child. That's what the father is thinking about. Being able to let his children know, even though he's not there all the time, he's still thinking about them. He's still showing that he cares. If I had that, my whole relationship with whoever... Look, I'll even be real, yeah. I met my biological father at 30. at 30 years old. And as much as by that point I had such a hatred for him, the fact that I could look in his face and see the similarities of myself, see my features in him, the fact that I learned that I have another heritage to me that I never knew about. Do you know what I mean? And the fact that even though I said these things to him, he too still turned around and said to me, okay, cool, you're a big man now, but I still want to be in your life. Those words had an effect on me. Because those words were the words that I wanted to hear for so long. Even though I hated this man, I didn't know him, I just met him. But because of how I'd lived my life and how much loss I had felt due to the lack of his presence, to hear that he wanted to be in my life had an impact on me. Now, it turned out to be bollocks, because after that day, there was no further contact. He didn't try. He didn't, no. And when the following year, when it came down to Father's Day and I tried to look for him and found that I couldn't find him, that fucking destroyed me. That fucking destroyed me. Destroyed me. And that's at 30 years old. That's at 30 years old. For a period, I went back to thinking dads are shit. Went back to thinking dads are fucking shit. Big up the real dads that are looking after their kids, but the majority of dads, they're shit. How can I even believe that when the only references that I have got is just a small sample size that I have within my life? I don't know the whole world of dads that are out there. I don't know all the nuances and difficult circumstances that all of these dads have to go through, especially in a society where basically the world doesn't give a fuck about dads. It's not even when it comes to family court, favours the mother. Considering what used to go on back in the day, I understand how it has got to that point. I do understand how it has got to that point. But when I know fathers, when I know dads that have taken accountability and fully want to take up the responsibility, and because of selfish reasons, they're being denied time with their children and having to go through family courts for fucking bollocks reasons, I'm sorry. There is a problem. There is a massive problem when it comes to the societal view of one parent against another parent. There is a massive problem. And again, I am a firstborn of 5 children. I am also a man with no kids, and I am also a man who grew up without his father. I am saying there is a massive problem. We need to stop normalizing and downplaying the role of fathers. We need to stop it. It needs to stop. And it's not just women that have this viewpoint. I have said many times throughout this video, I had this viewpoint as well. Even as a man, I had this viewpoint as well. But it is damaging. And it is most damaging to the children. It is most damaging to the children. You can do the numbers. You can do the research. Children that come from fatherless homes, They are at a further disadvantage. You can do the research. You can see the numbers. Yet we are still at a point where we will completely dog and downplay and dismiss the role of fathers, when there are many, many good fathers out there that all they want to be is just fathers to their children. Whether they are with the mother of the children or not. That's all they want to be. There's many men out there. I'm gonna stop saying that, oh, they're just the little few. No, it's probably the majority. It is probably the majority of men out there truly want to be good fathers. The majority of fathers out there are actually fucking good fathers. But because we want to focus on the minority of bad fathers, bad people, because we just want to focus on the minority of that and use that to shape the perception of all men. It's fine to do that. It's fine to completely dismiss the role of a good father. It's fine to completely downplay and dismiss the role of a father. It's fine to do that. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. Once again, as a man, firstborn of 5 children, as a man who has no kids, and as a man who grew up without a father figure, I'm telling you, this needs to stop. Please, when you are thinking about dogging your partner, when you're thinking about screaming and telling your kids that your partner ain't shit, think about the effect it is having on the child. Think about the perspective it is shaping in that child. And think about what they are losing as a result of basically your selfishness. Think about what the child is really losing as a result of that. Life is life. Life is difficult. Life is difficult, man. But I'm sorry, it is no more difficult than it is for a child who doesn't understand the world that they have come into, who does not know the rules, who does not know how complex this world is that they are growing up in. All they have is to go off the experience and the teachings of the people that came before them. And if you don't realize you are giving out bad lessons, you will really, really do more harm to your child than good. Please, think about the children, man. Please. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week. Take it easy and sincerely. Blessings to you all.